All right. Great. So I am live and my background is blurred because my bed is a mess. My dog has started sleeping with me and I love him. I love him actually sleeping with me, which I didn't think I was going to like, but actually I like quite a bit. But he's a slob. Okay. And we're going to have to do something because last night I think I had pet dander in my nose because I couldn't really breathe, and that was not good. So we're going to figure out something. In the meantime, I've got a blurred background. So I want to talk to you all about being a spiritual life coach. And I want to talk about my first experience as a life coach, which is very, very different than my experience today, thank goodness. Now, when I first started, I graduated from my certification program knowing a lot about spirituality. I had studied for a year with a woman who was really wonderful at helping me like really be accountable to myself spiritually. And that was super, super powerful. And the problem was that when I finished with my education, I didn't have any idea of actually how to run my coaching business. Like I didn't know how to generate clients. I didn't know how to blog. I didn't know what to put on my website. I didn't know how to market myself in any way. And I didn't know how to sustain myself. And um, I didn't know. And so the first couple of years, and it was literally, I got my certification in 2012. In 2013, 2014, and 2015, I suffered, which is a long time to not be making any money. I think that during those years as a life coach, luckily I had sold my brick and mortar business, my day spa, which was great because that did give me some income to live off of for about 6 months. It wasn't a lot of money, and actually it was a really challenging time for me, and so I ran out of money very quickly, and I found myself for a good 3 years not having more than $1,500 a month in income. And it was because I just didn't know how to run the business. And it's not because I wasn't talented. It wasn't because I didn't have ideas. I had a lot of ideas. I was very connected to spirit. But spiritual connection is really great, especially for bringing in ideas. But when it comes down to sustaining your energy and doing things consistently, that's not really spirit's realm. That's more of like humanity's realm. Like I like to consider the creativity, the feeling nature, the nature of spirit. I like to consider that to be in the realm of the divine feminine. So when we're intuiting, when we're in our feels, and when we're getting downloads, like to me, that's all about the divine feminine, and she's wild and she's feeling and she's connected. But the divine masculine is our logical self, it's our rational self, it's our temporal self, it's time driven, goal oriented, and it does very well with deadlines. So what I was missing, so I graduated as a spiritual life coach, and I was really, really in my divine feminine, and I was traveling all the world, and I was behind the 8 ball all the time. There was always this specter of, you're running out of money. How are you going to pay your rent? I cannot afford to buy what I need. I'm running out of food. I can't pay my rent. Okay, I'm laughing about it now because I'm having a very different experience. But the reason I'm having a very different experience is because I actually know what to do now. And I've been doing it for years. And so I actually have money. I know what to do, and my business is going really well. So and look, here's the thing, and here's where my problem was. And actually, I'm so sorry. I need to just double check and make sure. Yes, I'm good. Okay, so the problem was that I didn't have a system and I didn't know how to take all this wonderful divine feminine energy and to bring it into a form that would be sustainable, that would be consistent. Because look, if you're going to have a business, you have to be consistent, you have to be disciplined, you have to be reliable, and you have to put yourself out even when you don't feel like putting yourself out. So if you say that you're going to be a blogger, then you have to actually blog, and you can't just do it 3 or 4 times when you feel like it. You kind of have to do it really consistently because you're building up an audience, you're building up a readership, and you have to keep yourself relevant to these people that you love, right? You have to be there delivering content for them. The other thing is that you have to be able to receive from the divine feminine a really big idea, a really big vision, and then you have to be able to put it together in the real world to make it real. You have to give birth to it. That to me is the divine feminine and the divine masculine coming together inside of you, inside of me. And this is where the challenge is, because I'm going to be very honest with you. It's very easy to be in your divine feminine and just to be talking, 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 delivering messages, delivering messages. But just delivering messages is not really what life coaching is all about. Being a life coach means that you have to be able to see a person, see a human being. You have to be able to listen to them and to discern what's going on with them. Partially, you're going to be using your intuition, your feeling nature, and your downloads. But another part of you is going to be just human being to human being, seeing their pain, connecting with their story on an intellectual, logical, rational, human level. Just your inner child connecting with their inner child. Empathy, where you are feeling their pain, especially if you've gone through that pain before. You're going to just be connecting, right? And this is going to be the opportunity is for you to be that coach who is receiving this person from your heart, in your heart space, right? You're connecting with them, you feel them, you empathize with them, you sympathize with them, you have compassion for them, and you get them, you see them. Like, I have walked that, I see you, right? That is very much the human experience of meeting a kindred spirit, connecting with someone over something, over a hardship. And that's how bonds can really form between two human beings. Yes, spirit is there. Spirit is mixed up with that energy, but that's also the beauty of being a human being with a shadow. When you see another person who is coming to you for help because your shadows match, that's actually a really beautiful experience. And I want to encourage you to remember that even though you're a spiritual life coach or you're a spiritual healer, really a lot of the beauty of doing this work is the fact that you can relate to people. You have gone through some really big struggles. You have overcome things. You know what it's like to not be able to control your eating, or you know what it's like to be addicted to something, or you know what it's like to have been abandoned. You know what it's like to grow up with a narcissist. You know what it's like to suffer emotional abuse, okay? You know all of these things, and the human part of you gets to connect with another human who is going through those things and is extending themselves, opening themselves, showing themselves for help from you. I think that's really beautiful. And the ability to help that person is, yes, you are a channel for the divine. Spirit will work through you to help that person. But you know what? You also are the divine. You have a brain. You have will. You have energy. You're the one who lived that experience. So who is better to talk about that experience and to take your experience and to transform it into a system of helping people where, no, you're not going to ever put anybody in a box. Nobody ever gets put in a box as far as I'm concerned. Well, an astrological box, okay? I might be like, are you an Aquarius? Okay, but even when I put you in an Aquarius box, I'm going to be like, yes, but are you an Aquarius with an Aquarius rising or a Virgo rising or Gemini rising? And then where's your Venus? Because then you go in another box because you have Venus is in Sagittarius. So you really, I don't like putting people in boxes, okay, on any level. So when you're creating programs for people, what you're doing is taking your experience of pain and then your triumph over that pain, and you're systematizing it so that when someone comes to you with that pain, you have a little system that you can help them do. So for example, let's say that I meet someone for the very first time. The first thing I want to do, my system, is not just to kind of throw some spiritual jargon at them. What I want to do is ask them about the experience that they are having. So part of my system is an intake form, right? So before they book an appointment to see me, they fill out a short intake form that asks them about what's bringing them to the session. What do they feel like? What experiences are they having? What in their past feels like it's a problem for today, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's a part of my system. Then the next part of my system would be to actually meet with them and to see if we are a fit to work together. Because for me, in order to work with me, you have to be qualified. You have to be ready to work. You have to be willing to look at your shadow. You have to not spiritually bypass, okay? I don't do spiritual bypassers. That's for somebody else to work with, okay? So in order for me to know if you can even work with me, I have to have a system to help me understand if this person is a good fit, because not everybody who comes to me is going to be a good fit, okay? And then once that person works with me, once we feel like we're a good match, then I have to go to work, right? So then I need another piece of the system where we're getting very specific about what it is I'm going to help them do. So I have to, we talk about objectives, right? Because I'm a coach, I'm not a therapist, I'm a coach. So I like to take people, I like to talk about what it is the person wants to transform, so that I make sure that they're getting what they actually want. I don't want to give them what I want to give them. I want to give them what they desire. My job is to help them get what they desire, not what I think they ought to have, right? So I need to listen to them. And then once they tell me what they desire, I need to create a plan of action for how I'm going to help them get there. And then I have to talk to them about that, because I need them on board with what it is I'm doing. So once we've gotten, like, we're all lined up, we know what we're doing together, the next thing that I want to do is start working them toward those goals. And I have a list of things, a list of exercises and tools that I've created that will help people do different things. Like I can help people achieve goals. I can help them heal. I can help them transform bad habits. I can help them change their mind about things. I can work with them on beliefs. I can help them discover what it is they want. I can help them work with their past lives. I can help them, help them get a new job. I can help them do all sorts of things. Okay. This is my job. And so I have a whole bunch of tools that I can use. And then I can put together those tools to help me help the person. Now, everything that I've described so far is rooted in the divine masculine. It's very logical, tangible, rational things that I've talked about. However, because I am a spiritual life coach, I'm using myself and my own experience, but I'm always tuning into my higher self so that I can get a broader view, a broader vision of the person and my own self and my own tools, right? Because if I created this one tool to be just about helping them find a belief, sometimes I notice that spirit's like, hey, let's just start this exercise and let's get them to talk about this thing in a different way. And then it turns out we never even really needed to find the belief. We just needed to get them to talk about things in a different way, right? So what I'm saying is you use both your divine masculine self to help you give structure and form and logic so that you can be nice and mellow and grounded, like you have all your things there. You have your books on the shelf, you just grab your book, okay? That's the divine masculine. But the divine feminine is like, which book do you choose? You need to choose that book. Okay, use your intuition to choose the right book. Like, oh, this book is the one I need. Oh, magically, it just happens to be the book I need. Even though I didn't look at it, spirit chose it. That's the book I need, right? So this is one way where you unite the divine masculine and the divine feminine together. Okay, why on earth did I start this live stream? I don't even remember what I'm even talking about right now, okay? I have no idea. Why did I even start this live stream? Okay, I think I wanted to talk about, I don't even know what it was called. Hold on, let me just go on to my page and see what I titled it. Oh, should you be a spiritual life coach or a healer? That's what I was gonna say. And so here's the thing. I think that the decision to become a spiritual life coach and a healer is really, really a big decision. But I think that if you feel it in your heart, I feel like the answer is yes, you should become a spiritual life coach and healer. And the reason why I wanted to say this today is because I think it's very important for you to feel safe in your decision to become a spiritual life coach and healer. And if you don't feel safe in that decision, my question for you is why? Why don't you feel safe? Most people because I've asked this before, I ask this all the time, most people don't feel safe in making the decision to become a spiritual life coach or healer is because they don't know how to do it, right? They don't know how. You have a feeling and you'd be good at it. And I have to admit that out of the thousands of discovery sessions and interviews and people that I've spoken to, I have to admit that I think like 98% of all those people would make good life coaches and healers. As far as just like being in the energy and doing the work, I think that they would actually do a lot of good to help other people. Now, here's the reason why they don't feel safe, and I don't blame them. And it's the reason for how I started this conversation. I was talking about how for 3 years, I could not pay my rent, okay? Look, That is uncomfortable. That's an uncomfortable feeling, to be so broke and you don't know where your income is coming from. Okay. But the thing I have to say is that it is actually very easily remedied. And thank God. Here's why I think you should become a spiritual life coach. With the proper training and the proper business setup, you can have so much fun. Okay. And the reason I'm saying fun is because we spiritual people, we like to have a good time, and we have a good time with spirit. So for us to have fun, it's actually really easy, because we have fun with our crystals. We have fun with our incense. We have fun with sage. We have fun with candles. We have fun with essential oils. Okay. This is what your life becomes when you become a spiritual life coach. Your life becomes about creating pathways to be more and more connected with spirit, to be more and more, like, the more involved you are with spirit, the more real your coaching business becomes. Okay. So that's number one, the fun thing. Where do you get safety? Number one, we know that you get safety from spirit. We know that we get safety from spirit. When you're properly trained as a life coach, meaning you're trained in how to do your craft, that gives you a feeling of safety because you have your authority. You know you're good at what you do. The other thing, and the last thing, as far as I'm concerned, is that you really need to be stable and trained in building your business. You have to learn how to market. You have to learn how to put together programs. You have to learn how to problem solve for people. You have to learn how to deal with people and their emotions and their trauma. And that's a really big deal. Okay. You cannot treat people lightly. And please, if you are someone who loves cliches, okay, don't do spiritual life coaching. Don't try to help people transform by quoting them stuff from Rumi and the Dalai Lama. Like, that is not going to help a person transform. Our job as spiritual life coaches is to take the trauma of people seriously and to take ourselves out of the world of cliches. For every cliche that comes out of your mouth, if you can't dive deep below the surface of that cliche and get to the root of it and give it new meaning, then you don't need to be talking to other people about that, because feeding cliches, you can get cliches off of Facebook. And I can go to my Facebook feed and give you a ton of cliches that are coming from all sorts of people, but you are not going to see any cliches on my feed and my homepage, because I am way deeper than that. And that is what people need in order to transform. So your job, and this is another reason why I say spiritual life coaching is so fun, because we get to dive below the surface of what's superficial. We get to go to the sacred meaning, the origin of things. And that's where life and transformation happens. So should you be a spiritual life coach or healer? Yes, if you are willing to do those things, if you are willing to be that spiritual badass that is connected to the divine, then you should be a spiritual healer and life coach. If you are willing to do the work to give yourself true authority, okay, we need to talk about that some more, but partially that authority comes from moving beyond cliches. Like, okay, I read this book, okay, The Untethered Soul. Let's say you read The Untethered Soul and you're all excited about it, and you go around quoting things from The Untethered Soul, okay? Quoting from The Untethered Soul is not deepening your relationship with the message that lies at the root of the untethered soul. You have to be the one that dives below the quotes into the depths. If you're doing that, then you're going to give yourself true authority. If you're quoting Michael Singer, he's the one with the authority, and you're just the person who's quoting him. You don't have the authority. He has the authority. If you dive deep into his work and you analyze it and you pull it apart and you apply it to your life and you apply it to the world around you, now you're starting to build real authority, okay? And the other thing you need in order to be a life coach is that business structure. You need to be able to know what you need to do in order to bring clients to you, to increase your readership, to create your programs, all these kinds of things, okay? All right, I think I've been going on. I just wanted to say that I needed to get it off my chest. I'm putting together my certification program and I'm working out some of the things that are in my head. Thank you so much for listening to me. If you want to learn more about my certification program, just drop a note in the comments section and I will be more than happy to turn you on to it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and sign off and get back to work. Actually, it's 6:30. It's time to unwind. All right. Crystal and Belle here signing off. Bye for now. Bye.